And some wonder what Razor Ruddock has left. At 34 years old, you slow down a bit. But he is changing his style. That's going to be hard to detect tonight.
Well, Razor Ruddock said there's just too many problems back then, not necessarily just the punches from his opponents. Managerial problems. He had an entourage following him around. Just too much stress, as you heard him talk about, and also found out away from the game for 3 years, looking at tapes, and just thought he was a little bit too aggressive, a little too gung-ho, could not live by the sword because he was dying by it. And now in training, trying to work a little more defensively. We will see. He's going up against another 34-year-old who is also coming off a 3-year retirement. Rodolfo Marin, the former Puerto Rican national amateur champion, who won his first 17 fights as a pro, 14 by knockout, before stepping up and losing a decision in 10 rounds to Terrell Biggs, being taken out in 2 by Ruddock. We saw him in a good-looking performance against Joe Hip, taking Hip 10 rounds but losing a 10-round split decision. And then months after that was cranked by Frank Bruno in 1, and that's when Marin decided to step away. He returned in April with a first-round knockout, but against a fighter who had 1 professional fight. Marin, known for his mobility, and as Sean had mentioned, though, 17 knockouts in his 21 wins can come up with the big fight. And you take a look at Marin as we take a look at the tail of the tape. Marin at 244 and a half, and consider when he came back he was over 260 pounds, so he is relatively in shape. And Ruddock, as you took a look at his midsection, you see that he could also take off a few pounds. Ruddock at 6'3", Marin matches him in height and matches him in reach. So these two heavyweights ready to go after 3 years off. Couple of comeback fights. They are fighting here in Florida. Standing 8 count is not in effect. 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round. For the introductions, let's go to our ring announcer tonight, wearing the black tuxedo and the maroon accessories. Ladies and gentlemen, the always jovial Mark Biro.
Live from the Entertainment and Sports Complex at Miccosukee Indian Gaming near Miami, Florida, Michael Akri Boxing Promotions and Budweiser, This Bud's For You presents USA Tuesday Night Fights. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Florida State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Eric Riley. The attending executive director is Mike Shanti. This is your first bout of the evening. It is scheduled for 10 rounds, heavyweights. Your referee for this event from Miami, Florida, Armando Garcia. Introducing the principals first in the red corner to my right, wearing the red trunks with the white trim. He weighs in at 244 and a half pounds with a professional record that reads 21 victories, 4 defeats, and 17 wins, coming by way of knockout. El hijo de Toa Baja, Puerto Rico. Here is Rodolfo Marin. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with black and gold trim. He weighs in at 248 pounds with a professional record that reads 30 victories, 5 defeats, 1 draw, and 22 wins, coming by way of knockout. He hails from Jamaica and boxes out of Sunrise, Florida, the former WBA International Heavyweight Champion, Donovan Razor Ruddock. 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Nate, Manny, you're the chief seconds, okay? Inspectors are in charge of the corner. In and out when they say, do exactly what they say, okay? Rodolfo, Donovan, you know exactly what I expect of you, okay? You're both of you professionals. I expect you to act that way, okay? At the sound of the hammer, I expect you to protect yourself and wait for the end of the round, okay? Good luck. Touch gloves. May the best man win.
Donovan Razor Ruddock, born in Jamaica, moved to Toronto with the family at the age of 11. That's where he grew up, and he's been living in Sunrise, Florida the last 10, 11 years. He returned in April with a 4-round stoppage over 11 and 49 Brian Yates, and then in June knocked out 5-5 Tony Brodum in the second round. And starting with his hands up, Razor Ruddock, former #1 ranked heavyweight contender, at that point regarded as one of the top heavyweights in the world, before meeting up after the 2 slugfests against Mike Tyson, then knocked out in the second round against Lennox Lewis before Lewis moved into the championship when it was vacated by Riddick Bowe. And then the Morrison fight, which would be Ruddock's last in 3 years. But the Razor coming out knows he gets the national exposure, the platform that had catapulted George Foreman and Larry Holmes, among others, back into the heavyweight picture at an advanced age. Ruddock not that advanced in age, at only 34. And right now with the feints, holding back, seeing what Rodolfo Marin has to offer. The veteran Marin of 25 professional fights. His 4 losses coming at the hands of Tyrell Biggs, Riddick Bowe, Joe Hipp, and Frank Bruno. And Marin would be fast to let you know that the Bruno fight was taken on very short notice.
Yeah, he said 2 weeks notice.
But the fight was shorter than the notice, 1 round. Here's the left by Ruddock.
His best punch. Razor Ruddock says, now I'm more patient in the ring. I'm wiser, more mature.
Says it was great to spend 3 years away from the ring to get a look from the outside, spend some time with his children, but now it was time to get back. 3 years was enough. So he started to get the 100 back. And I think what actually precipitated the appetite there is taking a look at the heavyweight division in its present state.
Well, it looks like he had the hunger while he was away, because a few extra pounds on top of Ruddock.
Well, he fought Tyson at 228 the first time, 238 the second, Lennox Lewis at 231. So he has a few pounds to take off, but he was talking about being very patient, and there's no question about that. 2.5 minutes of being very patient here against Marin.
Yeah, but he would be well served with a jab. I understand your patience and your concern over being patient, not rushing out and getting in a slugfest. But you have to set everything up with the jab, even from the outside. Jab is so vital, especially in this heavyweight division. A good heavyweight with a good jab will go far.
And right now, referee Armando Garcia, I think, has thrown as many punches as Rodolfo Marin, who's hearing it from the crowd. 3 minutes down in the scheduled 10-round heavyweight fight, the return of Razor Ruddock. His first appearance ever on Tuesday Night Fights. Earlier in his career, there were times in which Ruddock was penciled in but never made it to the big show. He was 25-1-1 on the way to a fight against Tyson. And his major victories over the likes of former and faded world champions Mike Weaver, Bonecrusher Smith, Michael Dokes. First semi-exchange.
Yeah, and look how effective Ruddock is with that left hook. That's his best weapon. And notice the right hand of Marin. He carries that right in front of his chin to protect his chin, but he has no protection for his right ear. There's a good look at that. See, the right hand is just below his chin. Got to keep your mouth closed too. And then you get hit with that mouth open, and the mouthpiece exposed. It will jack your jaw and hurt.
Ruddock looking to set up a shot. Marin right in front of him.
Yeah, Marin already sucking air in this second round. Everything from Marin, all his protection is on the left side, protecting from the right hands of his opponents. Not much defense for that left hook.
This is the first co-feature coming up, an IBC championship fight. The Macho Man, Hector Camacho, his 14th and final appearance on Tuesday Night Fights. Tony Menifee, out of the Midwest. He's had 64 fights. He's won 60 of them and has climbed to number 4 in the world. Out of Lincoln, Nebraska. His top opponent so far has been Roberto Duran. That was 5 years ago, and Duran stopped him later in that fight.
Oh, but he says he learned so much from that fight. You know, you learn from your losses. You learn much more from them than you do your wins.
Rodolfo Marin, who left the fight game after his bout with Frank Bruno in '95, and then he ballooned and came back at 260 pounds in April. He's taken off 15 and a half of those pounds for this fight.
Really a pretty good fighter. He had 27-3 as an amateur. One of his amateur defeats came at the hands of Evander Holyfield in the Pan Am Games. He was a 2-time Central American Games champion.
Well, he's smart in the ring. He's only been stopped twice. But right now, as Sean said, conditioning a factor. Look already at his eye, and cranked here. Miccosukee Indian Reservation, and it is packed here tonight. Coming to see, out of retirement, Donovan Razor Ruddock at the age of 34. Turned pro back in 1982 at the age of 18. And after 3 years off, has come back with 2 easy knockouts, and now playing with Rodolfo Marin in the first couple of rounds. Left eye of Marin really puffy, almost closed already.
Yeah, Marin circles to his left. That's into to the right hand of Ruddock. He knows he's got to stay away from the left hook of Ruddock. Ruddock's got fire on that left hook. There's Ruddock trying to set up that left hook.
Major problem for Marin is he has always relied on his boxing skills and mobility, but certainly heavier than usual. A little smile. And the crowd now getting behind this semi-comeback from Marin. Showing some spunk here in the third. Just a question of whether that's what he had left.
Yeah, take a look at that left eye of Marin. It is working its way closed. A lot of swelling underneath the eyebrow.
I thought you were going to say it's working its way towards the right eye. And now loading up his Razor Ruddock, but you know, in the past, this is also where Ruddock has gotten himself in trouble, loading up, maybe keeping himself open, and that's what the Marin may be looking for. Like one saving shot.
You don't want to load up, but you want to shake out the ring rust. It's been 3 years. Ruddock hasn't had a fight. He needs to loosen up. Just throw the punches. Don't go for the KO. At this point, just let the punches land. The KO will come later. Don't go out there looking for the knockout. There's a good KO-looking shot from Marin. Marin, good luck, took himself, but most of his punch is in his right hand. He says in the ring, I'm a boxer puncher. trying with more combinations now. There's also, it depends on how his opponent fights. He is a versatile fighter in the ring.
Well, may not look it, but he can sneak in some shots. And you know what, Sean, I talked about it was a little trip down memory lane. I'm looking at these two heavyweights out there, and, you know, the big name in Ruddock and coming back, and he has a few extra pounds, and I'm kind of getting a little nostalgic thinking back of the days of when George Foreman started coming back here on USA, and Larry Holmes carrying the big name and the extra weight, and often carrying their opponent. Which Razor at this point, for the most part, is doing. Coming down to the final 15 ticks of round number 3. Marin reaches back. Ruddock moves in, but nothing there as round 3 comes to a close.
Vamos a combinar esas manos. Hay que combinar esas manos, ¿ok? Vamos a soltarla, ¿ok? No tiene un caro, ¿estamos? A ver qué tiro le da. Está dominando al cabrón ese, vamos a ir recta, vamos a rigar. Oye, le diste muy bien con el gancho. Ya, recta y gancho, vamos a combinar las manos, ¿ok? ¿Ok? Vamos.
20 seconds over. If it goes one more round, go. Get him. The series go off now.
Just starting to loosen up the Macho Man, Hector Camacho, who will step in the ring tonight for the 71st time in his career and the 14th on the Tuesday night fights. What else is out there for the Macho Man, who catapulted off the Tuesday night fight stage one more time to get a payday against Oscar De La Hoya, and losing in 12 in that fight. Again, pretty much survival mode for Hector. That's what happens whenever he steps up to those big fights, and coming back for some more, looking to catapult again.
Yeah, remember the fights with Julio Cesar Chavez, Camacho, and Felix Trinidad.
Yes.
Along with that De La Hoya fight. When he steps up so defensive, he doesn't pull off the victory.
And those 3 of his 4 pro losses in 70 fights. The other one going back a little further when he lost the title to Greg Haugen. Here we are in round number 4. Razor Ruddock looking for his 31st victory. There's a big right hand by Marin, but missing. Ruddock, though, is stepping up in competition tonight after fighting 2 fighters who were 11-49 and 5-5 in his first couple of fights back off the 3-year layoff. Marin comes in 21-4, but working his way back to his fighting weight of somewhere in the mid-230s. He still has about 10 pounds to go, but he was at 260 a few months ago when he came back after a 3-year layoff. So
3 years off, and he says, you know, for this fight, I've had time to train. It took 3 years.
And like the 2 weeks for Frank Bruno.
Right. Just measuring with that right hand is Ruddock, but he takes a left.
Right.
You know, when you have an aggressive fighter like Ruddock is right now, he's going for the knockout, he's moving in. Sometimes you just put your hands out, and your opponents run into them. Look at that eye. Look at the left eye, Marin. Almost shut.
Well, it's nearly impossible for Ruddock here, as he said, he has to watch out. Found out how wrong it was to fight aggression with aggression.
Pick on that, pick on that. Pick on that eye.
Te lo tengo que decir otra vez, te voy a quitar un punto. No me puedo amarrar el brazo así, ¿ok? ¿Me entendiste?
Armando Garcia.
No holding. I think he said no holding.
Interpretation.
It takes a lot to say that, but that's what he said.
The champ's background in the fight game. Down to 20 seconds, and again, while he can, Ruddock works that eye of Marin.
Pull that on, guys. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, look on the inside. You just peck at that. Just keep pecking away at that That eye, it'll keep swelling. Matter of time. There he is, Ruddock using his ring-wise. Ring-wiseness. Ring-wiseness.
Escúchame. No me esté aguantando el brazo. No me toques, no me toques. No me toques, no me toques. No te lo voy a volver a decir. No me puedes aguantar de vuelta así. No quiero saber nada. Dale la plancha. Este round tuyo, hay que soltar la mano, Marín. Tú vas a ver aquí, combina con ella, vamos. Mira la mano, uy, vamos arriba, uy. Vamos arriba, uy, coño, vas a soltar la mano, vaya arriba, vaya, uy. Ven la mano. Uy. Vamos, Marín. Holding like that, all right? I already told him.
Round number 5. Razor Ruddock trying to sharpen up his skills, returning to the ring after a 3-year layoff. And in his sights, Rodolfo Marin, who has had a couple of shots at Ruddock. He's seen the Ruddock tapes, and he wants to take this as long as possible to try to find that opening if he will be able to find Ruddock after a while. He's got one eye shut, and Ruddock now will probably try to work on the other.
Or continue working as he did in that 4th round on the left eye. Also, look at these feints from Ruddock. He is able to feint and maneuver Marin out of his shoes. Marin, because he continues to move to his left, trying to pull the power out of that left hook of Ruddock. That's why Ruddock has been so successful with the right hand. The right hand will set up your left hook.
Marin really not helping Ruddock to work on the defense here. But Ruddock's been actually trying to incorporate into his overall style.
Yeah,
what was lacking in career number 1.
So busy having to work on his offense.
Well, Marin just looks the part, central casting of an opponent, and just an opponent. Look at that face.
One-eyed opponent.
But still showing some gameness. When you least expect it, Marin will come out of that shell. Ruddock stepping back. There's that left hand. Ruddock checking at 6'3", 248 for this fight. He says right now just working his way back, not ready to step in any big names right now, maybe 3-4 fights down the road. Although watching this, I'm sure there are some big names who will be calling Razor tomorrow. Try to encourage him to
step up now.
Yes.
Like they don't want to fight him tomorrow. You know, Marin better watch out. His mouth is wide open. When you have your mouth open like that, easy to get your jaw broken or lose your mouthpiece.
Well, he wanted 2 things open. He had one eye open, one eye shut, so the other mouth is open. When the mouth is open, that's the other 2.
Put 3 or 4 together. 3 or 4 punches together.
The fans at the Tuesday night fights revving it up and wishing that this one would rev up as we move into round number 6. That is Donovan Ruddock, Razor Ruddock, on the comeback trail. In this, our third from our finale on the Tuesday night fights. Ruddock making his first appearance.
There's an appearance of that jab. Quick, fast, sharp jab. I know he has one. I'd like to see him use that more. He has a good jab. Ruddock's been fighting as a pro 16 years.
But not including the last 3.
Stop punching, step back.
Armando Garcia, third man in the ring. Oh, measuring is Ruddock. And he really cools off just about everybody at ringside with that one. Fans very happy. Razor kind of got a smile out of that one.
So did Marin. He was happy he missed it.
If that had connected, Marin would have been knocked into our upper camera.
Marin feeling the breeze off of it.
Hector Macho Camacho, even back in the locker room, may have felt the breeze on that one. He'll be breezing into the ring against Tony Menifee in our main event, a 12-round IBC championship fight, junior middleweight title. So that's coming up in our main event tonight. Macho Camacho has made so many appearances and built his comeback on the Tuesday night fights, and he gets one last shot. And now trying to build a comeback is former heavyweight contender, #1 contender, Razor Ruddock, trying to do what he can to take out Rodolfo Marin. Marin tries to slug back, actually trying to get a look at his opponent in front of him, and the crowd comes alive. Oh, Marin waiting for the break and hauls off. Funny to talk to the corners of fighters before the fight. They're talking about what great condition Rodolfo Marin is in.
He's in bad condition now with that eye swelled up the way it is.
Once again in boxing, it is all relative. He's certainly in better condition than when he came back in April at over 260 pounds. Closing seconds of the 6th.
Step back. Stop.
The huddle in the corner of Rodolfo Marin. The doctor's in there checking out that eye that is completely closed. Doctor cannot stop a bout in Florida, but certainly can heavily lean on the referee to do so.
And Razor Ruddock sat on his stool watching what went on in the corner of Marin. He has to come out this round and start zeroing in, focus on that eye. The referee is waiting for an opportunity to stop this fight. He even told Marin, if that eye gets any worse, I'm going to have to stop it. Remember how Ruddock was picking at that eye back in that 4th round? Continuing to pepper away at it. He has ceased doing that. Also, look at the mouth of Marin, wide open. Oh, you got to get to where you clench your teeth on that mouthpiece. You know, scientists have figured that whenever you bite down on your mouthpiece or you bite down, you clench your teeth, it releases a shot of adrenaline into your stomach. giving you instant energy.
I saw that on Bill Nye, the science guy.
He is so good, isn't he?
Yep.
One of my favorite shows.
Whole segment on that. Now Marin at this point just got to feel
Hey,
after
I'm looking for a job in September too, you know.
After 3 years off, Marin probably thinking, man, does this feel great again?
Yeah, oh yeah. He won't tomorrow, but he may be feeling that tonight. Oh, I saw that also on Bill Nye. Oh, uppercut. Ruddock learned those uppercuts in that shootout with Tommy Morrison. How valuable those are. But all these shots missing the mark. A little ring rust from Ruddock and the elusiveness of Rodolfo Marin. Marin just a survivor. And here's where you have to bring in those explosions. Real fast, hard punches. And you got to peck away at that eye. Ruddock can stop doing that.
Well, we could make the segue from Bill Nye, the science guy, to Rodolfo Marin with one good eye. And right now it is a very patient Razor Ruddock inside the last minute of round number 7. Just walking down Marin. And knowing Marin will do everything he can to try to take this to a final bell in round number 10. Marin looking at this one as a quick jump start to his return after being out for 3 years. Comes back and has the gall to fight. And Andrew Campbell had one professional fight, and in that one he was knocked down in one, and he was again knocked down in one against Marin, but Marin now stepping up against a name in Ruddock.
There's the bell. That's in round 7.
Went over there and I asked him, "Are you okay?" And he says, "I don't think I can see." And I said, "It's over." He said, "I can't see."
Rodolfo Marin will not make it to the end of the 10th round. This fight has been stopped. He informed the doctor that he could no longer see out of the left eye, although we thought that might have been the case for the last several rounds. So this one is over. Marin stopped after round number 7.
Go outside, you know.
He gets a checking from the doctor. Look at that eye. Yeah, no doubt that should have been stopped. That eye had progressively gotten worse since the 4th round.
All right, let's get the official announcement. We go into the ring. Here's Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Armando Garcia has stopped this bout before the start of the 8th round due to the condition of the left eye of the red corner. Therefore, the winner by technical knockout, Donovan Razor Ruddock.
And champ, your assessment of Razor Ruddock, and this is 3rd fight back after 3 years off.
Well, the Razor Ruddock of the early 90s of 1990, 1989, and 1991 would have knocked out a fighter like Marin. Now, Ruddock, reading the headlines, looking for the KO, had difficulty finding even a stoppage tonight.
Well, he may still be Razor, but not exactly razor sharp yet. But he said give him 3 or 4 more fights on the comeback road. Razor Ruddock with the victory, stopping Rodolfo Marin after 7. We have much more coming up on the Tuesday Night Fights. Hector Camacho in the main event, and surprise visit when we return on the Tuesday Night Fights.